All right, we passed the test. The big D-Day of August 17th is now about 3 weeks past us. And I'm glad to report, after talking to many brokers and talking to a lot of real estate agents, including my own, that everything's working out okay. Everyone's doing all right. Brian and I did a video back last October when they made the announcement about everything that was going to be happening, and agents were just freaking out. And the message that we had was, just stick to business. Keep doing what you know, keep doing what you love, educate yourself on it, and move with the change, and everything will be okay. And that's exactly what we're seeing out there. A lot of brokers telling me that things are, business as usual. Agents are reporting not having an issue at all. Having buyer contracts signed is not as scary as they thought. And these are agents that are more prepared, right? The people that I'm talking to are agents that are pros, professionals in the market. These are the agents that really took the time, to strengthen their buyer agreements, presentations. Some of them were already doing it, but again, they just got even better at it, and they're doing okay. I have one agent tell me they are 9 for 9 on getting buyer contracts signed, right? So 9 for 9, and it's just asking. And I think, I asked her, what's the secret? And she said, I'm just asking. I'm just following the presentation, and at the end, just saying, here's how we work, and this is what you need to sign, and they're signing it. So not a big deal. So they're prepared with a presentation, they're prepared with scripts and dialogues, and they're doing a great job. But I was talking to one of the agents, and she said that the big difference for her is just mindset, just making sure that, she was scared that sellers, weren't going to be offering any type of compensation, and that buyers weren't going to be able to afford it. And that's just not the case that we're seeing out there. Sellers still want to sell their homes, and it really just comes down to the net, right? And that's what my message today is. I just wanted to let agents know that, when you're representing a seller, a lot of times, I'll just explain to the sellers what's going on. And I've been actually advising some of these sellers not to put an actual amount. Like, just let's see what it comes back at. Let's see what the buyers offer. And if they say, are you paying a buyer commission or an agent commission or some type of concession, we say yes, we'll entertain all offers. Well, what do you, I hear from the buyer agents, well, what are you offering as a, buyer agent compensation? And we're saying, whatever you need, put it in the contract. Send it to us, we'll take a look at it, we'll entertain all offers. And you'd be surprised. We had one this past week that my seller was, I won't put percentages to it, but I'll say that my seller was willing to pay a full reasonable commission, right, as to what they felt they're accustomed to. And I said, you know what, that's great, but why don't we just see what the buyers want? And when the buyers submitted their offer, the agent, obviously had their say in what they wanted in compensation, and it was less than half than what my seller was willing to pay. And that's an extra commission that goes back to my seller. So my seller is very happy from it, and we ended up putting a deal together. It's a very clean transaction, very good offer. Actually, it was over ask offer, and that's what the buyer was willing to do to be competitive. So if you're representing a seller, let them know at the end of the day it comes down to a net, and that's what we really focus on. Doesn't really matter too much of the commission or the percentages, as long as you're netting what they want. Now, as far as the buyer side, same thing. When you're negotiating with them or you're signing them up to a contract, you have your fee of what you charge, and you just let them know, allow me to negotiate my fee, and I'm never going to let my fee get in the way of you missing out on their perfect home. So, and a lot of times, I had one of my agent coaching members out in Dallas tell me that the fee that was given was a little bit lower than what he had signed them up for. And he said, Willie, I only showed 2 or 3 condos to them, and I was okay with it, but what should I have done? What could I have done different? And I told him, I said, you can either accept it or just go back to the conversation. Hey, here's what they're willing to give. Here's what we agreed to. How do you want to handle the difference? And again, just like having them sign a contract, you'd be surprised at what they say. They may say, great, what do you recommend? Well, we can go back to the seller, ask them to pay it, or we can add it to the purchase price and get it that way, work it into the deal, pack it into the price. Or you could just pay me at closing as an additional closing cost. How do you want to handle it? And so that's what, again, he's going to be doing that moving forward, because this deal was already accepted and signed. But he said, yeah, I should have done it that way instead of just taking, whatever fee was given by the other side. So there's ways to negotiate it. There's ways to get around it. But at the end of the day, for sellers, it's what they're going to net. And, if you have to work on the buyer's behalf, or the buyer doesn't have the money to do it, you can always also work it in. But sometimes, let's face it, you're in a multiple offer situation and the buyer may not have that extra money or that extra, commission to be able to pay. So what do you do then? And that's what we talked about as well. And I like what he said. He said, he went back to them and said, hey, here's what my fee is, but this is what they're actually giving me, and I'm going to go ahead and accept it. But over the next, 3 to 6 months, your reticular activator is going to be going off. And what he meant by that is that he's telling the buyers that, when you buy or sell a home, you usually run into other people that are looking to buy and sell homes, right? That conversation comes up. So he said, if you can give me 2 or 3 referrals over the next 3 to 6 months, that'd be a great way to compensate me for the percentage that I didn't receive from the seller. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, he said that he had said that to him, and they were more than willing to, give him a referral in the next 3 to 6 months, and we'll see how that goes. But that's another way to do it. So anyway, so I just wanted to just kind of report out there after 3 weeks that it looks like everything's going very, very well in his transition. And I compared it to like, remember back in 2000, like the whole Y2K, everyone thought that, the computers were going to shut down and the world was going to collapse, and everyone was taking money out of their bank accounts, because the banking system was going to shut down and we were going to run out of money and food, and all kinds of satellites were going to be shooting at us, and the world was just going to end in 2000. I remember my mother buying all kinds of food and water and packing it all down in the basement, in fear of this big change. And it was like nothing, right? Next day, we sat there at midnight waiting for all this stuff to collapse, and it was nothing. And I kind of feel the same with this whole August 17th date. Nothing really changed. Buyers need to buy, sellers need to sell, and agents are still going to make money. And the agents that, again, are ethical, the agents that are working hard, taking care of their clients, and showing value are the ones that are succeeding, right? Just like any other market. So nothing's really changed, and I'm really glad to see that. And value, as I just mentioned, is something that's very important. Now, I ran across a article, I think it was in realtor.org, one of those publications, that had a nice little PDF document, and it showed 111 things that buyers do. A little hit over here, walking at night, at dusk, going out for a little walk, stretch the legs, get a little walk in before my flight tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Going down to Florida to visit with some of our agents, a couple clients down to Florida, and then going to Charlotte on the way back on Wednesday to speak to a group of agents down in Charlotte, and actually visit my daughter Christine, who happened to just move down there. So I'm excited for her and what she's doing down there. But I digress as I cross the street again. So I'm going to send this document. I'm going to put it as a link in this email. And basically the document is all the things that is for you to be able to share with a buyer, all the different things that a buyer agent does for their fee. And there's 111 different things. Now, some of them might seem a little repetitive, but if you think about it, there's a lot of things that we do in every transaction. And I said it before and I'll say it again, buying a home, and I tell this to all buyers, buying a home is not an event that you just show up to. Buying a home is a process, right? There's a lot of moving parts in that process. So I'm going to attach the 111 things that we do as agents, or that a buyer would have to do if they did it on their own. All different things that have to negotiate and do on their own. And it's a nice little piece to give out to buyers, maybe, as you're prospecting to them, or, maybe as a mailer, or something you put in your newsletter, something you're going to educate buyers that might be on the fence about working with a buyer agent. You could send it to them and say, here are all the things that you want on your own you'd have to do, or you could just do one thing, and that's just call me and I'll take care of all this stuff for you. So I'll attach the document below, download it, use it the way you want. I believe I got it from Florida website, actually, now I'm thinking about it. It was the realtor.org website down in Florida that I got this document from. So take a look at it and you're more than welcome to use it. All right, so that's it. I'm going to get back home before it starts pouring here again. And you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good week. Bye.